Hi everybody, I am back with another episode of How to Adopt, and I know it's been a while, but I thought I would address just the questions between, okay, now I know I want to adopt, but do I adopt domestically or international? Domestic adoption is really an adoption that takes place in the United States, but the adoption through the state, many times you have to do a foster to adopt process, not always, but you have to kind of go through some state assigned procedures, which could include taking a class in our state. And so you may have to take some parenting classes. There are advantages to working through the state, and that is oftentimes your adoption is relatively free, so it's very inexpensive. The disadvantages are really the scrutiny of the state, and some states are very strict and won't allow you to adopt if you have a certain amount of children already in the home. Would be better. Private adoptions basically are the ones that you think of where you work through an attorney or find a birth mother, or birth mother finds you via an agency, or it could be through the paper or whatever, and then the birth mother will choose you, and you can then decide whether or not you're going to have an open adoption where you communicate with the mother, the birth mother, or a closed adoption or a semi-closed adoption. Those adoptions typically will cost similar to what an international adoption would cost, but not necessarily. Okay, my experience is primarily with international adoption, having adopted in from three different countries: Guatemala, Ethiopia, and Ukraine. International adoption, there are many options, but you are dealing with other countries. So you have to get approval from the United States, and then you also have to have approval from that particular country. Every country will have a different set of rules and a different set of paperwork. So currently, and I say currently because these always change, Ethiopia is open for adoption, although there are some things going on there where people are always questioning whether it will remain open. Guatemala is closed, and that was where we adopted from. Ukraine, with Matea. Ukraine is open, but as Americans we can really only adopt healthy children from the ages of 5 on. Children who are considered special needs still, like my son was HIV positive, and he still also could not be adopted till he was 5 at the time in Ukraine. There are some special needs cases for under 5 where you could adopt. There are many other countries like Latvia, Bulgaria, Russia. The Latin American countries are tricky. There's Honduras was open and closed. Now people are saying that they are adopting possibly from Nicaragua, Peru. Africa, we have the Congo, Ethiopia, Ghana, Uganda. They all have different rules, and they all open and close. So you may be watching this, and it may not be the case that one of them is open, but another country is. China is available. We have Hong Kong. You just do your research and find out. So through that process, in all of these processes, you need a home study. So that means you will need to find a social worker who will come into your home, ask specific questions based on that type of adoption. A good social worker will be aware of the country that you are adopting from, and will be able to sort of work with your agency, placement agency, who could be in any state. Typically, your social worker needs to be within the state that you are adopting, that you are living in at the time that you adopt. But if it's international adoption, you could, and maybe domestic as well. Yeah, domestic as well. If it's a private adoption, you could adopt really through any country, but through an agency in any country. So from there, you get a home study, which usually includes criminal record checks of anybody who is 18 and over that is living in your home or in your family, some financial checks to make sure that you are a certain percentage above the poverty level, fingerprinting, little biographical sketch on your life. They will ask you questions about your parenting style, discipline style. From there, if you're going internationally, each country will have a process that they call a packet that will accompany your home study, which is called a dossier which includes a certain list of paperwork, basically validated in the way that that country wants. It could be notarized and apostilled via the state. It depends. You need to have whoever you're working with basically walk you through that process. And you will mail that packet to the country. Many times you are given a referral immediately while they're still trying to approve the paperwork, but most of the time they are approving your paperwork and then you will get a referral. And it's important just to find out as many details and as much information by going online, checking out forums, creating a sense of community, getting as educated as you can via other parents. I would say beware though, always check the information that people online or on forums give you. Double check, triple check. Sometimes they can instill a lot of fear where there doesn't need to be. Other times they are dead on correct and they can be a huge invaluable resource for you. So every country is different. There's a huge need, as we know. I mean, the numbers say that it's 163 million orphans globally. That number could be more or less, depending. But what we do know is it's a huge number, and it takes a certain amount of grit and determination to walk through that paper chase. But in the end, it is so well worth it. And if it's on your heart to adopt, just know you're not alone. Do not get too frustrated. This is your way to walk through labor for your child in a different way than you would, I guess, physically, although, however, the dossier and the process does feel very physical. But, so we will be discussing some other options. We can talk about specific countries. Send us your questions. One big question that a lot of people have is whether if one part of the couple is on board, but the other is how do we handle that. So we will be addressing basically how to get both of you on board to say yes to adoption, including the husband or the wife, whatever case that may be, if only one of you is on board. And please subscribe to YouParent, watch our family, get a sense of what it's like to be raising children from 4 different countries. And everybody out there can be a mother, can be a parent. It's a matter of the heart